Unique design, triple rear cameras, an AMOLED screen, and that trusted Samsung branding. The new A50s sounds like quite a deal on paper, but is it? Alright, so the new Galaxy A50s is a follow-up to the widely popular A50 from earlier this year. The most prominent change that you're going to notice on this phone is that new diamond cut design on the rear panel, which, when combined with the gradient color effect, looks really good. The overall construction though is still shiny plastic, so while it's quite durable, it's pretty prone to scratches at the very same time. From the front, it's quite hard to distinguish the A50s from the A50. It has got the same U-shaped notch and that rather large chin. But the star of the show remains that 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display. It produces very vivid colors and has excellent sunlight legibility. In fact, it's the best display that you can get on a lower mid-range smartphone. What's not so good, however, is that optical fingerprint reader that lies beneath that display. It's slow to respond and it's not very reliable. So in terms of optics, the A50s has a triple rear camera setup. The biggest upgrade here is that new 48 megapixel primary camera. It has an aperture of f2.0 and it can take some really good looking photographs given that there is enough light. In typical Samsung fashion, the colors are a bit oversaturated, but they look good nonetheless. However, the performance does nosedive when the lighting conditions are less than ideal. There's a dedicated night mode on the phone which does its best to brighten up the images, but it also requires your hand to be quite stable. So, mostly, you end up with blurry nighttime photographs. The videos from the A50s's primary camera are quite average. The colors here are quite muted and the videos lack detail in general. Samsung's much hyped Super Steady mode is also here, which does a pretty good job at stabilizing shaky videos. But weirdly enough, videos taken with this mode on are also on the more saturated side. Overall, even though Super Steady works pretty fine, videography is not the A50s's strong point. The secondary camera here is an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle unit, and it actually can capture a lot more scene when compared to the main camera. Again, in broad sunlight, the photos taken from this camera are pretty good. There's a bit of barrel distortion around the edges, but it's not enough to spoil the photograph. But then again, you should avoid using this camera in low light because the results are below par. The third camera here is a 5 megapixel depth sensor for bokehs and all, and it does a pretty good job too. Up front, the A50s has a 32 megapixel selfie camera. Now, don't let the megapixel count fool you because the results from this camera are pretty average. However, for regular social media sharing, it's pretty okay. Power on the Galaxy A50s is provided by Samsung's new in-house developed Exynos 9611 chip. On the software front, this phone runs on Samsung's One UI built on top of Android 9 Pie. The performance of the A50s, in one word, is disappointing. You see, One UI on this phone is poorly optimized, so you end up with clunky animations and slow transitions. It kind of reminds you of Samsung's infamous Touch with UI from yesteryear, and that's not a good thing at all. Also, Exynos 9611 itself is not as powerful as Snapdragon 730 on the similarly priced Redmi K20. In terms of GPU performance, it's also average. We tried playing Call of Duty on this phone and the results were not very consistent. Okay, so the battery on the A50s is a 4000 mAh unit, which can give you about 5 to 6 hours of screen on time based on medium to heavy usage. It also comes with a 15-watt fast charger inside the box, which can charge the phone fully in about 1.5 hours. Now, let's talk about the biggest problem with the Galaxy A50s, which is its price tag. At the time of filming this video, the A50s is sold for Rs 21,000 for the base 4GB RAM variant and Rs 23,000 for the 6GB RAM variant. And to be honest, for the kind of performance on offer, these prices are quite steep. You can get a Redmi K20 at the very same price, which is in a different league altogether. Also, similarly spec'd phones from Xiaomi, Realme and Vivo cost a lot less. So, if you're interested in buying the A50s, it would be best to wait for a big price drop, which is bound to happen given the steep price tag. Otherwise, the A50s is a hard phone to recommend. Alright guys, I hope this video answered all your questions about the Samsung Galaxy A50s. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and do subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.